In fact, we're even going to talk about, Harrison and Purchase were originally part of the town of Rye. Harrison being a horse thief who stole that property from the town of Rye back about 100 years. So we're really looking forward to this as a kickoff evening, and want to invite everybody to come and please spread the word. Great. Okay. Department reports. Mitch, you have anything else?
I've added enough.
Thank you. Finance? No, I think we've been through everything. Yep.
I do have one.
Okay. Tax receiver, Nick, did you have it? Okay.
Just a reminder to the people who pay their own taxes that in the Village of Portchester that the second installment will be due. The bill will be out there somewhere around December 1st, and it's due by the end of the year. So everyone, if you don't have a mortgage and you're responsible, please make sure, if you don't get the notice by the first 4 or 5 days, call us. Very important.
So Village of Portchester.
Village of Porchester, second half.
Thanks very much.
Okay.
Thanks, Mr. Mecca. Mr. Noto.
Thank you. As a follow-up to these In-Rem issues, I'm going to make a brief report, and then I have a policy question that the board needs to address. As you recall, and I'm just keeping this in sort of a sequential order, there were originally 79 original properties, and most of them paid. And there was a category. There were 2 additional categories, and that's those who did not pay and answered the original petition. And these are people that, for the most part, hired lawyers who filed answers. And in those cases, we filed a motion for summary judgment to essentially ask the court to grant us judgment on these properties. And the return date on that judgment was November 13th, 2009. So there were 15 of those properties in play. We're going to call the November 13th group. Of those 15, 4 filed bankruptcy, the last one on 4 o'clock on the 13th of November, which automatically stays the motion. So we cannot get a judgment against those 4 property owners. 4 paid in full. That's Sinnis, Harris, Cruz, and Cucino, and that was a total of $200,871.66. They all paid essentially last week, the last week of the thing. There are 3 who attorneys requested extensions of time because they are going to pay in the next 2 weeks. So we granted an extension of time to the 27th of November, 2 weeks. So the court gave us that's the next available date. One of them, the reason we extended it, is the County of Westchester has a lien on the property of about $50,000. This must have been an affordable housing program where the county had put a lien on the property. We had originally gotten into a dispute with the county about it because my position is we, as the foreclosing entity, if we're successful, we will literally wipe out the county lien. Now, keeping in mind we are also a municipality, and that money is also taxpayer money. So it's not like it's just county money. But in any event, we were originally at odds with them, and then today they informed me that they were going to drop their opposition, and they would agree, as I had originally suggested, that were we to get the property in foreclosure and sell it, that after we receive our taxes and penalties and interest, we would make our best efforts to give them whatever we could to make them whole. But no guarantee that we're either getting what it is they're entitled to, and it's about $50,000. The other 2 have at least explained to me that they're going to pay between now and the 27th. In fact, one of them has already made a substantial payment. That's probably another $100,000 or $150,000. So there are 4 property owners who did not respond to the motion, who I anticipate will then lose their homes. I don't think you need their names, but that's not really what I need from you.
Sorry, but that brings the total of properties that we're going to...
Of the 15, it looks like we're going to get 4,
right?
Maybe 5. Because
how many do we already have?
This category, none.
I understand what I'm saying from the previous category.
Let me go back to that. Okay, on the previous category, we had taken, I believe, about 8. Now, this is where I need your a decision. We sent Mr. Councilman Villanova and Mr. Nowotnik to these homes, and they hand-delivered a letter
Mr. Goodwin, I think it was.
Oh, Mr. Goodwin. We got the they got the muscle.
The muscle.
Okay, they got the muscle. Okay, they went to these homes and hand delivered letters, and I must say it worked because subsequent to the letters being received, I have been contacted by. In fact, I think Sam has been contacted by one individual, but I've been contacted by at least 3 of those who said, "Oh my God, I've lost my home. How do I get it back?" Interestingly, none of them said they didn't get notice. They all admitted, at least these 3, that they were aware of the proceeding. No real explanation as to why they let it go. One said the house had been in his father's name, and in that particular case, what's really sad is that they lost the house owing the town only $9,000, not having a mortgage, and they've been paying the taxes over the last 2 years, but this was an old lien back in '06 that they just somehow didn't pay, and they just accumulated. Now, the reason I need your direction is that these are people now who have come forward and said, we'd like to literally buy back our homes. We will pay immediately the full amount due and owing with penalties and interest. But as I explained to them, A, it's not their property anymore, it's the town's. So it's the town board has to make this determination. And B, this is going to be a lot of extra work for your town attorney because I now have to prepare new deeds and transfer documents and resolutions for you to essentially convey the property back to these people. So what I need from the board is a policy decision. A, do you let them buy back the properties? And if so, what would be an appropriate administrative surcharge? Bishop had a suggestion, which I thought was a good one, which is 1% of the assessed value, which can be substantial. One of these properties, just so you know, the gentleman who lost his home for owing $9,000 in taxes, his 2009 assessed value is $767,000. A huge windfall for the town, and I know the supervisor's view on some of this in terms of being a finance guy, right? And being a finance guy, the rate of return would be pretty extraordinary for the town of Rye. The other individual who owes $62,700, his assessed value in 2009 was $495. So it's a slightly different scenario, but. So,
sorry, just one clarification.
Yeah.
Was it just the one property that paid subsequent years?
Yes, only one. The others have been non-paying since '05 or '06. This one individual, it's a commercial property, and he said, because his shock was, he said, we've been paying the taxes.
Right.
I said, you have, but you didn't pay back in '05 or '06, and this lien never,
but he got
never paid.
notice.
Huh?
He got notice.
He got notice of the petition on the foreclosure. I think he didn't take it seriously because he's like, well, I'm paying my taxes in '09, so therefore why is, almost like thinking it's a mistake. I said, that really should have gotten your attention. You should have called me, and then I would have, worked it out with Mr. Mecca. So there's just a couple of issues that you need to be aware of. First of all, as one, or at least one or more of you have made mention to me, that if we do this, there is a possibility, if not a likelihood, that they're going to fall back into the same non-payment routine that got them into this mess in the first place. I mean, for the most part, people who have sufficient income, they pay their taxes. Now, I've mentioned this to them, and they've all assured me that they will be doing things to make sure that that doesn't happen again. I think we've given them a very, significant, scare. So the other question then becomes, we don't necessarily want this as a policy so that people think they can not pay and then wait 2 years and get an In-Rem and then buy it back. Although it's a headache for them. So I mean, you're under no legal obligation to do this.
Isn't there a huge penalty interest expense too? I mean, they're not.
There is.
I mean,
but they're using the town as basically a bank. They're basically.
Yeah, but what interest rate are they paying? I mean, they're
paying a lot.
Well,
it's like 18-20%, isn't it?
No, even like 36%.
36%. So I mean, it's not.
Well, I'm not saying they're using good judgment. I'm just saying this is what they're doing.
But I'm as a policy matter.
Yeah.
If they're paying me 36%, let them default all they want.
All right.
I will take that 36%